Hello, 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 everyone. It's your buddy Jayrassic, and I'm hoping that you are having the best day of your entire life today. And today it's a great day because I'm doing something a little different. Instead of doing my normal recreation builds and so forth, I decided to go ahead and do a kind of just a fictional build. Not something that I've really done before, and it's totally outside of my realm. But this one is duly in respects to as a way of saying thank you to Frontier. So this one goes out to Frontier as well as Elt for her Planelt community zoo build that she's doing, and I'm really hoping that she'll end up using this. I really do, because I spent well over 9-10 hours working on this thing. So but yeah, it's kind of they featured my stuff on the Steam Workshop, or my Mega Blue utility, my utility Mega Blueprint on the Steam, or on their Twitter page, as well as their other social media. And I just wanted to find a way to say thank you to them for featuring that and showing that off. So I went ahead and thought, hey, you know what would be a good thing is to basically create something for PlanElt Zoo. So yeah, so this is a reptile house, with the exception of one animal, which is the Fire Salamander. I figured, dragons and fire, they go together. And of course, since Elt is using a lot of European animals and showcasing those in the habitats and exhibits, this would be a good way to ensure that it's still following that theme. And we're also using a lot of different European pack DLC and update items in here as well. So that being said, I went ahead and created a reptile house that's basically imposing dragons. Since PlanElt Zoo is really of a fantasy type storybook setting, I figured, why not include dragons in this fairy tale zoo? So with that being said, thus came the Here Be Dragons reptile house, or reptile cave, I should say. Originally, I was thinking about doing a castle of some sort, like a European, like an old European style castle and everything. And I tried that avenue. It just wasn't working for me. I don't know why. And it just felt too. It wasn't elaborate enough, I guess. Maybe that was my problem. The first thing I was gonna try and do is actually have the dragon be over the entire entrance of the cavern, and I actually tried creating a whole dragon itself, the whole body. And honestly, the piece count was getting way too high, and it was becoming too encumbersome. And I'm like, this is gonna take forever and a day, and I still had to edit all this stuff and whatnot for the video. So I'm like, yeah, we're just gonna do a partial dragon. As you can see here, what I'm doing, I'm just basically did the front right claw, and the head and the neck is basically all I ended up doing. I did want to try and put wings on there, and that didn't work out too well. So as you can probably see in this video, there's a lot of long fades here, and I do apologize for that, because this is a brand new video editing software that I just discovered, and thought I'd take. I just wasn't really happy with hit films, just because it takes so long to render these videos. Like this video probably would have taken at least a good couple hours to render. Where DaVinci, what I'm using now, is a lot faster. So many more options. I haven't even scratched the surface with that editing software. So I'm looking really forward to trying to discovering more things with it, and what we can do with that, what I can do with that software. So but yeah, obviously I tried my first aspect of video transitioning and failed miserably. So I apologize for the long fades there. So basically, I went ahead and used the faux rocks and so forth to kind of create the exterior. The neck itself, as well as the dragon, is made out of plaster pieces from the African pack, and then the claws and the teeth, I believe, are from the Arctic pack. So it worked out fairly well. You know, after building all of it and after I put in all the pieces and everything, I thought about doing the icicles and everything and the frills to kind of give it spikes. And it didn't look really good. I really would like to have those icicles be a flexi color. That'd be kind of cool. So then we could maybe use them for stalactites or stalagmites and stuff like that for cave settings. I think that would be really awesome. But you know, we have what we got, and that's what we use. So so to kind of give you an idea of what animals we're going to be placing in here. Well, obviously a lot of the major and popular reptile exhibits. So we got the boa constrictor, we have the yellow anaconda, puff adder, death adder, Gila monster, and the skink. And then as for amphibian, I just selected the one fire salamander. I probably could have added a couple more if I really wanted to, and I may still. I haven't quite decided. But one thing that I do think that worked really well with this build is the fact that the fire salamander tied in due to the fact that we're kind of doing a lot of Europe featuring Europack features as well as DLC. So I want to make sure that I get that attribute in there, as well as you know, well, I mean, it's fire salamanders. In Legend, fire salamanders were born from fire, so that's why they call them fire salamanders. Not because of the coloration at all, but they believe that they were animals that were born from fire. So yeah, the little history tidbit there on that. So with this build, I used the faux rock, and I also used the faux tree roots and so forth to kind of give it that really cave-like look and so forth. And then I kind of retracted a lot of the faux rock and used more of the faux tree and just put that upside down and did the mud wall approach to kind of give that cave look. And it worked out pretty good. A little higher piece than what I wanted, but you know what? It worked out pretty well. So just a fair warning, if you have a very low budget computer, this may be a little laggy for you. One thing, as you saw here, I'm bringing back my cave rocks scenes from my first initial blueprint, which is also my most highly downloaded blueprint. So if you haven't, if you're doing some cave work and stuff like that, this is a really good one to use. Now, it does use the desert rock, so that's something to keep in mind. I did not make it with temperate and so forth, but you can easily swap it out and so forth. And here we're, you know, just starting to put in the animals. I didn't put a lot of the animal footage in there because of the fact that, well, this video was a 9-hour recording, and I built 9 hours straight on this thing. So doing editing took me another 2 to 3 hours, and to trim it down as short as it was, well, that was a pretty large feat there. So, but hey, I was able to trim it down to at least 16 minutes, not including the voiceover. So that's a plus there. Oh, and also, you know, like I said, as I haven't said yet, so I'll say this quick here. If you're first time to the channel, make sure you subscribe so then you can see more of my content that I try to get out on a weekly basis. And as always, if you like these videos, so then that way it helps out with the YouTube algorithm and helps the channel grow a little bit more. So, but back into the build, you know, right here, I've actually, looking back, I probably could have put a couple more exhibit animals in there, but honestly, I just wanted to be done with it. I didn't want to overburden it and stuff like that. So this area, we have our mystic pond here and everything that I wanted to, I kind of put that as a King Arthur type feel to it, is what I was kind of going for. And, you know, I may have captured it, you know, where, you know, he finds Excalibur with the Lady of the Lake and so forth. Actually, I don't think he found Excalibur here, but, well, actually, in one of the Merlin episodes, I believe King Arthur finds Excalibur, the lady with the Lady of the Lake here in the Mystic Lake. So, but yeah, also to kind of help out with pathing wise, I just went ahead and put the mud wall panel and just kind of made it the same color texture as the rest of the build and moved through. Now you may notice I also have two different colors of rock. I have the faux rock one color, and then I have the faux tree as a different color. And you know, I kind of did that on purpose, just kind of break up the color scheme a little bit. And of course, it's kind of hard to get the same colors between the faux rocks and the faux tree rocks, so which is kind of odd. I wish the Frontier would have made it so the colors were more matchable. Like you hit one color and they're pretty much all the same. So, but yeah. So one thing, going back into the Mystic Pond here, or lake, I wanted to get a waterfall in there. I really did. And as much as I love the in-game waterfall effects, it just was way too big. So I eventually deleted those and used the jet streams, water jets, and just kind of create some miniature waterfalls instead of using the 5 meter and 10 meter waterfall. Although I still use the 5 meter waterfall tops just to kind of round it off. One thing that I also learned during this build that I did not know before is that the water in the waterfalls and water jets are color changeable. I don't know how I didn't miss that before, but yeah, that's kind of a cool feature, which as you can see here, I'm changing the color to make it a little darker and everything, so it's not so white. Yeah, I think it worked out very, very well. I've also put in Wisteria, since that's Elt's favorite foliage in the game, and just kind of embedded that into the rock as well as on the roof, just to kind of tie it all in and encompass it within the scenery. Also did a lot of cork oak around the build itself to have it blend in with the scenery, and then of course the mossy rock and the wisteria on top of the roof as well to kind of make it look like it's somewhat subterranean. Looking back, I probably should have actually built this underground, but I didn't know how well Elt would be able to put that into her zoo, so I kept it above ground just to keep things simple in placement. Now, one thing that I wanted this dragon to have was I wanted it to breathe fire. And so I went ahead and you'll see that in a little bit, but I also wanted that long snake-like tongue. And I looked at a lot of different aspects. I looked at to try and figure this out. And it turned out the Europe pack, the Europe DLC has the gondola pillows, which worked really well. For the fire, we went ahead and used the South American torches, used some smoke effects there, and then to top it off, I did actually get it to somewhat breathe fire. And then, of course, I after looking at it, I kind of changed the eyes a bit to make it more snake and reptilian-like. So gave it a little bit of a cat eye there, and then lo and behold, here we go. Pretty much the final build there. But of course, it's not over yet, because, that's me. I had to get some lighting in there because I wanted this to kind of be a dark, mystic setting. So this is definitely one thing to, if you're going to look at it, you got to take a look at it at night, which we'll definitely look through it during the walkthrough and so forth. And then, the other thing that we needed to have was education signs and, of course, some actual signage to the build itself. And, I was kind of contemplating on what to put for signage-wise. And we'll get into that a little bit. But one thing you may notice with my builds is the lighting. I always try to do as much architectural lighting as possible. It just gives a whole different feel to the build itself. Honestly, looking back, I probably went too bright of a red, but in all reality, I just wanted that whole vibrant fire scarlet look, so that worked out pretty well. Here we are again, putting in the education signs. I wanted to make sure it tied in there, so I used the stone temple pieces to go ahead and, or actually the Asia stone pillars, to get those in there to make it kind of blend in with everything. And then of course I got some ones for the stone pillars for the habitats as well. So I think it worked out very, very well to kind of tie it all in together. And nonetheless, I think it worked out very well. Just a little reminder, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do so to keep up to date with all my weekly content. And also make sure you go ahead and like the video, so then that way it helps out with the YouTube algorithms. Moving on here, like I mentioned earlier, the signage is always a thing with me. And here we go. I use Wyatt's fonts for this one, and you know, it worked out pretty good. I really liked it. Except one thing was a little difficult was sliding it over, because it seemed to always want to off canter, but you know, it worked out pretty decent to get that in there. And you know, I just kind of went ahead and put that all in there to get it all working about. And then, of course, to make sure that it fit that medieval theme and so forth, I had to go ahead and find some nice wooden piece, which went back to the Arctic pack in this situation, since it has that nice rustic wood and kind of had that medieval Viking yet medieval feel in there. So, you know, I originally wanted to put in some sort of fire element in there. As you're seeing here, I eventually just take that off. It was just way too much, and sometimes too much is just sometimes the littlest bit is the best. So as you can see, I took it off there, and we went ahead and also created some fence posts here in a little bit, and you'll see some more little custom signage. I just wanted to kind of have some fun with it in this build with the signage. And you know, I used the Australia wood fence post to make those signs with the Australian edit signs, edible signs, and you know, just kind of put those around and kind of off canted them to make it look like it was just kind of hand posted and whatnot. And there's a couple other things that I built off camera here that I'll show you here during the speed build, but I thought this was kind of a really nice touch of the you know, keep out and the here be dragons, so forth. So all right, so without further ado, let's get into the b-roll, and the walkthrough is coming up any second. There we go, there's the walkthrough. All right, so going right off the bat, this is the front entrance of the Here Be Dragons exhibit. And oh hey, that probably needs to get moved over, because that looks kind of odd off to the side like that. So boom. All right, I'll fix that later. That's not a big deal here. But yeah, moving on. This dragon is absolutely phenomenal. I just love it to death. It may be cheesy, but you know, that's okay. I like the fact that the claws are coming out, talons are coming out on the side, and it blows fire. Well, sparks anyways. And what I actually used the Africa fire pit, decorative fire pit for that, to kind of get that out there to kind of blow sparks and everything out. And you know, I actually purposely had it protrude on the side. I thought it'd be kind of cool to have a little cheekbone horn of some sort to kind of break up the jowls. The other thing you may notice here, I went ahead and used the Europe pack pieces here for the decals, as well as the shields. I thought that was like really cool to use the decals. You look to make it look like someone got it ripped up. Other thing I thought about doing was maybe putting some eggs in here. I don't know, I haven't quite decided on that yet, but yeah, moving along, let's go through. And first exhibit we have is our python to the left here, which you know, is always, I could never find him in these things. I'm sure he's in there somewhere. But yeah, moving on. And then of course the next one we have is our Fire Salamander. And you know, what I should actually do is really put this at nighttime here, so then you can really see the beauty of this all here. There we go. And you can see we already came through that way, but yeah. So you know, the blues and the reds kind of making some purples, and then we've got some whites and yellows through here. Here's our Komodo Dragon throughout here. Looking, and there's two of them in there, right there. And then we have our Nile monitors in there. I try to keep as little foliage as possible since it is in a cave setting, but you know, I still want to give it a little bit of foliage. And then we have you know, our Death Adder or Puff Adder, our Gila monster, and then of course our big boy saltwater crocodile in there. And it took me a while to find this one. Because I wanted a big one, and this one is at the 83%. I wish I had a 90 or 100, but good luck on that. So I saw a 93 and it timed out before I could go ahead and buy it. And some more snakes, and I probably could have put some more exhibits here to add a few more reptiles, but you know what, I figured enough was enough. And Maybe we could put some education signs and stuff like that through here if need be. I mean, it's by far a lot more that you could do. But yeah, and then that brings us to our mystic lake or pond, whatever you want to call it. Again, inspired by the King Arthur fables storyline. And again, I used a lot of the wisteria to kind of make sure that Elt had her favorite flowers in there and so forth. And one thing that I will say that I loved about this was using the grunge decals to make duckweed. So this is the moss grunge decals, and it worked out really, really well. And they even look good underwater too. So like if you had an underwater exhibit, you can obviously still see that. So I think that looks pretty cool there. So, but yeah. So there you have it. There is the Here Be Dragon exhibit. Again, if first time to the channel, make sure you subscribe and like the video so that way it helps the channel grow. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And and one last thing, this will get onto the Steam Workshop. I actually do have it posted already, but I do need to update it as I did a few different changes to it. So hopefully you'll be able to see that on the workshop here shortly. And till next time, build, play, and enjoy. This is Jayrassic signing out. Goodbye, everyone. Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you smash that like button and leave a comment down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. That way you keep up to date with all the content that I release on a weekly basis. You can also follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Steam, Discord, as well as Facebook. Till next time, build, play, and enjoy.